Hello friends, my name is Shivam from DevOps Schools and I will help you to enable your learning process in various technologies of DevOps, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data and many more. This is our initiative to help you by sharing multiple tutorials and videos. And if you want any specific tutorials or any particular topic, then please do comment in the below comment section and I will help you with it. Also, please subscribe to our premium services on YouTube, which will give you access to more content and videos to enhance your knowledge about all these topics. Also, if you want me to help you with regards to the online trainings and classroom sessions by our qualified trainers, then please do write me at contact@devopsschool.com. Thank you.
uh, the image anatomy. So today we'll learn how to develop image. Yesterday we have consumed lots of images, many images and the containers. So I hope it is clear. So today we will spend some time working working on Yadagiri. Can you please mute yourself? There is noise coming from this side. So today we'll spend some time understanding the image anatomy. That's important. So many of you would like to know how to create image. Let me tell you one thing. The Docker and containers, whatever we learned so far in this today, we learned because we want to develop a good image for our organization. So that is the important thing. What we do that. So we have learn all these commands just for creating a good image. That's the important one. Now I would like you to recall one of the important thing, and I hope you remember, and that is remember what is image. So I said very clearly here. Look at this here. So typically in any operating system, you will have a boot file system, and then root file system, and then user file system, and then application file system. So these are the primary 4 file systems. You will see that. Now also we understand what is a boot file system, what is a root file system, what is user file system, and application file system. Now in the image, we don't have a boot file system. We have only a root file system, user file system, and application file system. Okay. So I hope this is clear, right? For all of you. Understand that what is a root file system, user file system, and application file system. Yeah. Okay. So now with that understanding, let's understand this. So what is image? So in one image, okay, you have a multiple file system. Any image you look at this. Yesterday we used Ubuntu image, Fedora image, and one of your fab image you have also used, which was a part of assignment. Okay, like MySQL, Tomcat, or whatever it is. So in any image, if you look at this, they have a multiple file system. Okay, so one image is made of multiple file system, and that each file system we call it layer. Okay, understand that. We have one image, you have a multiple file system, and each file system we call it layer. Now this, why we call it layer? Because these file systems are layered over each other. Okay, so on top of each other it's layered. So that is why we call it each file system as a layer. So here you can see that layer 0, which is the base file system, and then 1, 2, and so on. So image. Okay, so layer 0 is, you can say, it's like a root file system. So see here. So here how many images you can create. So image you can create as many. For example, layer 0 you can create one image. Layer 1 you can create one image. Layer 2 you can create image. But if you look at this here, if you have a layer 0, image 0, you have only one layer. But in a layer image 1, you have a 2 layer, 0 and 1. Now if you go for image 2, you will have a 3 layer, 0, a layer 0, layer 1, layer 2. So this is a images. Okay, this is the images. Any questions, any doubts here? Are you able to understand that image anatomy? Okay. Yes. What each layer would contain, that is interesting. Look at this here. Here each layer will contain different file system. Let's understand this. When I say Ubuntu, it's not basically operating system. That means there is no boot file system. It is having. You have a root file system and plus user file system plus application file system. So here you see layer 0 you have a root file system for Ubuntu. On top of that Nginx and then top of updates. So this is how the things is being done. Now look at it. So multiple layers get collab together, merge together and create an image, right? So multiple layers together is forming one image, and from that image you can create a container. So see here, single image shared by multiple containers. Okay, single image shared by multiple containers. Okay, so here each layer has a UUID. Okay, for identification. This is the 40 character SHA value, SHA 256 is the algorithm. So that is used in the Docker images. So each layer has a unique ID, and that is how you identify. It's like do you see that Git commit? When you commit in the Git, you see the one commit ID, which is a 40 character. Similar, here each layer has a commit ID, UUID and stuff like that. So you can understand. Now with that, we have to understand this rule. Okay, please read it. Very important rules are there. Okay. First one is higher layer always win when there is a conflict in a layer. Okay. So what is the meaning of it? So let's try to visualize this. Higher layer always win when there is a conflict. So here, okay. So what happens? Look at this here. Now let's say this is a layer 0. Okay. And in this you have a file directory called OPT. And under the OPT you have one file which is called, let's say, DevOps. Okay. And DevOps. And in this content, the DevOps file content is I love DevOps. Now on top of that layer 0, there is one more layer. Okay. And in the same location, OPT location, here you have, and then file name again DevOps. So see that you have a two files, two layer, and same file you have a content. And here you say I love let's say Kubernetes. Okay, I love Kubernetes. So now you apply this rule. Higher layer always wins when there is a conflict. So if you create an image out of it, these two layers, and create one container out of it, so what you will see that in the each container? Any idea?
I love Kubernetes.
I love
Kubernetes.
Kubernetes, yes. So remember here, because there is a 0 and this is the one layer, so higher layer, which is this one, so this will always win. So if there is a conflict found, this will win. So in the container, you can see I love Kubernetes. I love Kubernetes. So that is the thing. So here, understand that. Now you must be wondering, okay, fine, higher layer always win in case of conflict between the two layers. But who's doing this layering? Who's doing this layering? Because this layer is stored different places. So who will manage the anatomy of this layer? So the anatomy of layer is being managed by union mount. Okay, union mount is a kind of algorithm which union the multiple mounts. Okay, and this is there in Windows also. and this is there in the Linux also. Okay, so Union mounts doing all the magic. Okay, now what is the Union mounts can do? So here Union mount allows to mount multiple file systems. Okay, so Union mount allows to mount multiple file systems over top of each other, but combining all of these layers, single view, giving a application so as a regular everyday file system. So understand this. Here what happens? See here in the you have a root file system, correct? So this is a root file system, and then top of that you have some applications files, applications. Okay, now some more updates is here. Okay, so now here these are the three layers. So Union mount basically merge these layers. Okay, so all these layers get merged together, and from this you get one container. Now if you log in inside this container, you will see merge view of this. Okay, and always one more rule get applied, higher layer always when in case there is a conflict. So what happens? This Union mounts do the magic and merging all these layers, and when you log into the container, you will see like, okay, everything is like there's no difference. But who's doing this magic? Union mounts. So Union mounts merge all these multiple layers and make it one layer, and then they create a view of as if it's just an operating system, which I've been working since long, and that is how it is. Okay. Now here one important thing is all layers are read only except the top layer. So what is that? All layers are read only except top layers. Yes. If you see here in this, how many layers you got it? See here. One layer. Let me read this one. One layer, two layer, three layer. Now there is one layer got created combining all the layer by Union mount, and this is become fourth layer. So this is also layer. This is a container layer. So each container get a one writable layer. Understand that. So here the merge layer, this is called merge layer. Okay. So this will be coming from all three of it. Who will merge it? Union mount. Now, so here altogether you get a four layer. So this you cannot modify, read only. This you cannot modify, read only. This you cannot modify, read only. But this one, which is the container layer, is writable, read and writable. Okay, are you able to understand this?
Yeah.
Okay, so all together, these are the rules which we need to take into the consideration before working with the images. Any questions, guys? Any questions, guys?
No.
No.
Yeah, Rajesh, I have one question. So yesterday we pulled some images, right? So those images will also have this kind of layer, and initial layer will be one image will be there.
Yeah, each images will have a layer. I will show you during the demo how to check that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Because we saw only one unique ID for that image, right? So here we are saying for each layer.
Image ID is nothing but identification for that creating image, and image ID will represent multiple layers.
Okay.
So all these layers get created at the time of creating the image.
Yes, we create those layers actually, and each layer has a certain changes which is done over the period of time. Okay. Do you know Git? You guys must be knowing Git, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So let me correlate now. I said one statement yesterday, and that I said Git and Docker both are brothers and sisters from the same parent. you remember in a Git also what you do? You change the multiple files and you commit. So basically that is also create one commit. That commit is file system only. Okay, understand? I'm calling file system. But here what is happening, let me tell you. In Git, what you commit? You commit code. Okay, multiple code, their directories, subdirectories and files. That is their file system. But here what we commit, you call the operating system file system, which includes root file system, user file system, application file system. Okay, so that is the difference what we have there and here. So basically, in a simple way, if I put it up, versioning your operating system is the process of Docker image.
Okay.
Okay. So, yep. Let's move on, guys, if you have no additional questions. Okay, look at this here. Here, all this image, a layer of the image is basically a read only, locked one. And then top one image, which you see that layer, writable. That's the container layer. And here you see, below that image is boot file system. Basically, boot file system means the place where you are running the Docker engine that is having kernel, and that kernel has a boot file system. So that is the thing. So overall everything you get it. See here, look at this image here. Look at this complete picture. Look at the picture. So you have a kernel. Kernel has a C groups, namespaces, device mapper, and also on. That is called boot file system. On top of that, you add a root file system, that is Ubuntu, and then keep adding some changes, and then top of which you have a writable container. So this is the overall architecture, whatever. All these are nothing but a file system. Okay, understand that?
Yeah, one more question, Rajesh. Let's say we want to bundle our application to have an image, right? So first we will have a Red Hat, then that is as a base image. Then we will add Java, that also another one image. Then Tomcat and Apache and Jupyter.
This will not be image. This will be layer actually. This will have a layer. Let's say Red Hat will be one layer. Okay. And after that Java will be one layer, so two layers here. And from these two layers you can create.
Okay, Java will be layer 1, then layer 2 will be Tomcat,
right.
And layer 3 will be there, or in layer 2 itself will have.
Yeah, you can have any number of changes over the layer 1 to layer 20, whatever you want to, and each layer will have a different thing. But when merging happens, top layer always will in case of conflict. If there is no conflict, no problem.
Okay. So it can be multiple layers. It's not restricted to layer 2.
All as many layers you want. How many changes you do? For example, just to make, I think you answer my questions. I mean your questions itself. See, first you will have a root file system. Let's say Ubuntu or RHA. Then on top of that you install Java. So that's the second layer. Third layer you probably have a Tomcat. Fourth layer you have an application. Fifth layer you have application update 1. Sixth layer you have application update 2. Like that you keep having the layers.
Okay, fine. Yeah.
So ultimately these layers, when you run the command docker run, this union mouse merge all this layer and create a common layer and give it to the container. Understand that, right? Yeah. Look at this image. This is an important image. See here, all the layers is read only except the writable layer, which is basically container. So each container get one writable layer. Okay, understand that each container get one writable layer, and that's the top layer. and look at this, the anatomy of the Docker image. So read-only layer can be shared by the multiple containers, but one writable layer, one writable container, one layer, like that. Okay, guys, did you understand this?
Yes.
Okay.
So Rajesh, is it compulsory to have this boot file system in the very first layer? Always?
No. Boot file system we have in the image, right? Boot file system we have in the base in wherever Docker engine. Remember?
Oh, okay. But root file system is
root file.
so that is definitely mandatory.
That's mandatory. Yeah. The others, how it will be like operating system. Remember, operating system you need a root file system with along with the user file system, then application file system. Huh? Right?
Okay.
So if you want
Rajesh?
Yeah.
Rajesh, I have a query with regards to this locking of the root file system. Say I'm using an Apache server and I want to add a user and I use a writable layer and tweak the root file system to add an extra user to it. So are you saying like we can't do anything with the root file system here?
No, you cannot do that. So you can do on top of that. So you can modify this. See, you can create a container. You can create a writable layer with this container, and then modify that layer. It will become one layer, and then changes will be there in that layer. In simple way, if I say, you cannot modify the root file system. So you do the modification on top of the root file system, and any changes which you do, you have to commit that layer, convert it to the readable layer, and then that layer will have only the changes which you made it. For example, let me ask you one thing. Do you know when you add an account, which file get modified?
User adds /etc user adds.
So there is one file which is called etc password. So when you add a user, etc password. So that means if you have only added a user on top of the root file system, then there's one layer created with only one file which is called etc password, and in that file you will be having only one entry. You will be having all the entry plus your entry.
We can't even do the changes with the execute interactive mode also, is it?
No, that's what I said. No,
Docker -.
Any modification if you want to do, you have to convert into the container writable layer, and then you do the changes in the container and then commit it one more time.
So even if it is like some network change, if I need to add some IP tables or something like that, that has to be done when the creation of image itself. We can't do anything apart from it. It's something like that, right?
No. Let's understand this way. See, sir, there's a one layer, okay? This is the root file system, RFS. And on top of that, there's one more layer is there. This is layer 0, layer 1. Okay, some changes are there. Now what you want to add something here. Okay, just think about it. So what you should do, this is a one image, right? So there's a file which is called password, PASSWD, whatever it is. So what you will create, this layer will create one container layer. Whenever you create a container, from that, this container will have what, this container will have this file and this file merged together. Okay. You will see everything inside this container. Everything. Okay. But this will be merged. This will totally merge. It's a new layer. Okay. This will be not referenced at that time. So here it will be merged. Now in this you modify, there is a two location. This layer will have a two location. Again, I am complicating it a little bit. This will have a two location. One will be like this. Okay. One you will be having the merged. Okay. Merged. Okay. And here one will be having a diff. What is the diff? So any changes you do on the merge layer will be stored in the diff. For example, diff means added, changed, deleted. Yesterday you tried this command by the way. Okay. Now what happened when this is the changes you made. So any changes you made here, you made in the diff layer, and after the diff layer, let's say you want to make these changes permanent. This container you want to make it permanent. So do one thing, commit this layer on top of it. Now in this layer we'll have only diff. Understand that diff, not everything. Merge layer is not needed anymore. So here now you have a password here and new password file is here. So that means, and you know the rule. Now next time when you create a container from this three layer, this and this will be having conflict, whereas this will win conflict, and then that is how it is. Are you getting what one?
Okay. Yeah, Rajesh, got it. Thank you.
Any more questions, guys?
Is it basically like, the base image will be kind of static and people can get the base image and according to their users, they can change it. So that will be in the software. So they can make use of it. Okay?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. The base image will be same.
Yeah.
It cannot be changed, right?
If you can change it, you have to commit it, and then you have to create a new image always.
Yeah.
New layer always.
Correct. So the other user, if they want to get the base image, so it will be from that point of time. Yeah, basically I can relate it to the Git.
Yeah.
I can understand.
Yeah. Okay, so now I'll show you the demo. Probably that understanding will be strong for all of you. So let's get started. So samples. Okay, so guys, this is my machine now. Okay, so first thing, please let's write all these lines. So I have to prove it also, right? It's not only talking. So guys, image has multiple layers, correct? Each layer is file system. Each layer has UUID by SHA-256. SHA-256. Now each layer, one more thing. So here, image bottom layer is root file system. Correct? Root file system. Multiple layers get merged by union mount. Understand this. Union mounts and get attached to container mount as a mount. Top layer in case of layer conflict, top layer always win. Okay. Each container get one writable layer. Each container gets one writable layer. Image layer is read only. Okay guys, now this is some of the points. So I am going to prove the same thing. So let's look at it, my screen. So here, first thing I'm going to log into my machine, which is here.
To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the 3D99 plan and grow your skills immensely.
Rajesh, so when you create an image, right, Docker image,
Yes, yes. First, I'll prove the. I'm going to show you that how to create image. That's very simple, not very difficult. You love it. CentOS. Okay, so now first thing. Okay, guys. Now please look at this. This is the fresh installations. I did it only for the demo. Okay. Now the question is, I should ask a question. Where is the image location? Where is the location of the images and layers? Understand this. Image has a meta information. Okay, meta information. Layer has a file system. Okay, so these are two things. Now, how do I find out where is the location? So let's say I do not know. So I will run the command called docker info, and here I see that the location which is called here docker info, and then I see this is a iget. So, and one more thing I would note it down. This is a storage driver. Okay. So now, depends on your this location and this one, you will find the layer location. If you go here, cd var lib docker. Now you see here, this is the location. So now you see here, so many directories are there. Containers information will be here. Remember, containers meta information. Okay. Containers meta information. So I should show you this one like this, ls-1. So here some of the important thing you should check it out. Hold on. So the important information you should check it out, and that is see, this is for the meta containers meta info. Now this is for containers meta info. This is for image meta info. Image meta info. This is for network meta info. Now this is for the overlay. This is for layer file system. Layer file system. The file system, the real file system will be here. Okay. Again, there's some more information like a volumes, trust and all. I will talk about little later. Okay. So now this is important. All the layer file system is located in this. Why? Because my driver is overlaid to and this is location. So now, yep, this is the stuff. So now can I go inside overlay? You see here, there is nothing. Okay. There is nothing. Now du-sh, you see there is no layer, 0 bytes data is there. I think there is nothing. Now, can I download the image? So let's play with one of the basic image. So it's very easy. It will be very easy for understanding purpose. So I'm going to use one of the Ubuntu image. So docker pull Ubuntu. I'm pulling the images. Now Ubuntu has a very few layers, so that way it will be easy for us to understand. Okay, now see, 4 times it has pulled. Pull. That means I think it is a 4 layer. Do you see 4 layer? You see here this one. 4 layer. How do I see the number of layers? There is a one command, docker images, docker inspect. Yes, you can inspect the images and you can read the number of layers. See here, a root file system, type layer 1, 2, 3, 4. So you got a 4 layers. Okay. Now these layers locations, you know that where it is. See that. Correct? Huh? Overlay 2. So guys, all these layers you got it here. Understand that, guys? Guys, understanding this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, Rajesh.
Okay. So now you must be wondering one thing. This number of layers, this layers IT is not matching with the directory ID. Why is that so? So yeah, that is the anatomy you have to understand. You have to ask the SHA-256 for that. But you see, these layers you got of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But these are the layer ID, whereas this is the directory. Okay, understand that. So here ID, this is so if you deep dive into that understanding the layer ID, then they will tell you, okay, this is the directory ID. So again, I will not get into that. So just avoid that. So you got 4. Now I would like to know which is having the how much size. So -- max depth is equal to 1. See here, which is the heaviest one? This one, right? Remaining are smaller. So can I go inside this layer? 76 MB. So CD, and you see that, okay, all the layer file system will be under the disk. See here. Have you seen this directory structure anywhere? What is this called?
Root file system.
Yes, it is a root file. Now you know that this is nothing, but if you go to other directory, there will be some changes on top of it. Some small changes. I have no idea what the changes, but we can look at into that. So see here, I will go for this one, which is almost close to 1 MB. So go inside this and try to find it out. Diff, always look at the diff. Okay, diff will be readable entry. Diff will be having readable entry. Okay, var. You see there's some files got installed, maybe cache or something. Something is that, apt. Okay, update maybe. Okay, so yep, maybe update. So like this. So this is the way you keep adding files. During the runtime, these all files will be merged together. All files will be merged together and create a one layer. So one by one, let's go through this. Now you understand that each layer. So guys, let's go one by one. Here, image has a multiple layer. Is it proven or not?
Yeah.
So done. Each layer is a file system. Is it proven?
Yes.
Yes.
Each layer has a UUID 256, which is a UID sort of style, 40 character. This is proven.
Yes.
Bottom layer is root file system. Is it proven?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Now one more thing I want to tell you. How many times this commit has happened? So here if you see Docker images, I will see Docker history. History will tell you how many times commit has happened. So you see here, this is the commit information. In a Git, you do the Docker log, Git log, remember? So here we do the Docker history. So here, one time commit, this much of data. Second, third, fourth. And here you are creating one image out of it. So this is the image ID, and here you see this is the image ID we got. Okay. So 4 layers all together we got it. Okay, you see that all this commit has happened at a time, at a one time. How can? So I will teach you that one. That this commit has been done by automated systems, CI tools, but manually if you do that, there will be difference in changes. So I'll show you how it can be done. Today I'll teach you. So now this is done. Now multiple layers get merged by union mount and get attached to a container as a mount. So this I now want to prove it. So guys, there's a one do we have any containers? See that there's no container. So can I create one container, docker run -itd ubuntu. Now you know that this command why did I added itd. You know that I want to interact. If I don't interact, this container will be executed. I don't want. Same time I don't want to go inside a container. So I said D. Okay. So I got this container. Here it is. Docker. Here. Guys, just a second. Give me. Okay. So here, now you see that there is one container. So now I want to see that whether union mount has merged all this container as a all the layer as a one layer or not. So can I see first ls? See that. Do you have something here? This is a merge layer. You see here. Not this one. Sorry, this one. Okay. How do you know that? Because I see the init. Init is a kind of runtime environment. See the matching. So this is the additional layer got created. This is the one which I selected. That init is the size is very small. Look at the size of this. 77 MB. You remember your image size also was 77 MB. If you don't remember, let me show you. Here you see 73. So it got extracted and here is become a 77. So some addition of meta information and all stuff like that. Now if you see that du-sh, see 8 kb. So this is a meta information, but this is your, so this alone it's a 77 MB. How come? Because of they merged together. Now you want to see that inside that and go inside that and check that. Go here, always work. Okay, sorry, diff, always diff. See, this is the, oh sorry, here merge, right? This is the merge. See, in this you have to see the merge. Remember, this is a writable layer. So when it is a writable layer, you have to look at the merge. If it is a read-only layer, you have to check the diff. So there is no changes I have made it, so I should not check the diff. I should only check the merge. If I do the changes in this layer, then I should check the diff. So right now you see that here. So this is the results of merge layer of all the core layer. Now, but the question is, how do we know this container got a layer? The container, which container which? So you do the one thing, docker ps and docker. This is a container ID, docker inspect and container ID. You can inspect the image, you can inspect the container ID also. Now you have to read it, this part of it. See. Okay. So you see here, merge directory. Here it is. So you get to know everything is in your inspect data only. So if you inspect the container or image, you will get most of the data. So you see that's the directory. Now if there is, I also said multiple layers get merged into union mounts by union mount and get attached to the container as a mount. So attachment if you do, mounting if you do, it should show in your DF table also, right? See that. One merge, this is the mount. That means whatever is there in the merge location is showing inside the container and you know that what is there in the merge location. Okay. Are you understanding this? Are you understanding this? Yeah.
Yes, right.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the merge layer. Now, there's nothing changes happen, so nothing will come in the work. It is. So in case of layer conflict, top layer always win. See here. In case of layer conflict, top layer always win. So let me do one thing. Let's modify the some layer on top of it. So right now, docker ps. Okay. You see here, docker ps. And I want to go inside this container, docker attach container ID. Now inside the container, which file I want to modify? So I want to modify some file which is existing. So go to the some file under the etc. Okay, and here you see I'm modifying this file. What is the content? You see there's something which is there. What I will do, I will modify this content. I did it last time also, but this time with a different context. See, I am modifying. So I'm adding the content. There is a conflict I am creating. Okay, done. So here you see more issue. See, I added this content, appended this. So now I'll show the difference. You go back. Oh, you have to come out of it. Control PQ. Okay, look at this here. Now, see here. I change this diff. Look at it. CD, diff, etc, issue. Look at this. This is the changes. So that now you understand that how diff command works. See it. Diff. So any difference between the layers when you got created and the changes made, it will be stored in the diff directory. Okay, that is the. You are making changes in the file, but actually it's storing in the diff directory. After that, they will merge into the merge layer also. You see here, merge layer, and go to etc, more issues. See here. But if you go down, come out of it, okay? Come out of it, okay? Here, view -h -max def is equal to 1. So this is a 77, which is a container layer. This is the base layer of image. Can I go inside this? And diff and etc and more and issue. See, still that changes there. So see that you are in the layer, read only layer. So where it got modified? Write only, which is the container layer. Are you getting my point, right?
Yes.
So, yes, in case of layer conflict, top layer, each container get one writable layer and image layer is read only. So here, all these things I have. So now you understand the anatomy of image. If you need a little bit more clarification, you tell me doubt. I will talk about accordingly. So tell me. Right?
Well, I have one question.
Yeah.
Like when the top layer gets created, when the image, so when it transforms, so is that image size gets doubled because the fourth layer is like altogether the size of the base image?
When top layer is, can you please repeat your questions one more time?
Let's suppose that the base layer was 74 MB, and when I run it, so the container gets created. So there is the top layer gets created.
Mm-hmm.
That is the size of the base image, like whatever I had and whatever the changes I'll be doing. So is it the whole size gets doubled because I have the base image as well as the top?
Let me put it in this way. So it's happening like this. Understand this, please. There's a one image, okay, and this image has a 4 layer. 1, 2, 3, 4. All together, it's 100 MB of data. Okay, 100 MB of data. Now, if I create a container from this, so there is one more container layer will be created, writable layer, and one more container, 2 containers. So here, this will also be 100 MB. This also will 100 MB. This is a merge layer, okay? Merge layer. Now, merge layer. If you do the changes, so the changes will be stored in the diff directory, not a layer. Same layer, but diff directory. And diff directory. So here, plus. So this is something how it is happening. Is that answer your question?
Okay, I understood. Yes, I got it now.
Okay, guys. More questions? More questions, guys?
Yeah. So we always change in the top layer only, right? And so do we really change anything in the down layers at any point of time?
No.
What is the use?
We always
No,
change
right?
in the writable layer, which is the container, and then commit. So,
Okay.
okay, let me tell you one thing here. You always change the container, but if something is committed, can you not recreate it? So actually, there is a way to recreate it. So recreation, whatever you committed, just leave it as it is. Don't use it, and recreate your own image with your own layer with your own specification. So creating is just taking few seconds, not more than that.
Okay. Thanks.
There are more questions? Okay, guys. So there's no questions, I believe. Can we move on?
Yeah.
Yes, Rajesh. So now I just gave you the information about anatomy of images. Now we will next section, and again you will do that. These three commands I use most of the time to play with it, and the rest of the commands you know that Linux basics, so you can check this out. Now here I showed you one URL which I created a consolidated list of it, Docker and commands. So now if you see that we covered yesterday working with the containers. So we completed all these commands, okay? And I think this was the assignment you already helped me. I think I got 2-3 response, not everyone responded. So please, today let's have a little bit more participation that way. Now I am going to teach you how to monitor the container, and then I will go into the demo of working with the image, because I don't want to miss it, because these are the commands which I needed in order to do this. So let's get started. So here this is the monitoring the containers. Let me tell you, these commands are very powerful, which helps to monitor the container's behavior. So let's say if you want to monitor the logs of the container. When it's a log, that means basically it's a PID1 process, okay? PID1 process only, not everything. So here there's a one Docker PS. You see here there's a container which is running, but I need some dynamic container which is changing. So here I am going for the web application Bintini. So one container I am creating from the Jenkins again.
So all of this downloading are the layers, right?
Yes, it's
Jenkins has so many layers.
Yeah. So I use the basic image so that way understanding will be good. But in the real time image you have so many layers. So now you see here. Like this. Okay. So now there's a container got created. Now I want to see the logs of it. So logs is nothing but the PID1, which is a Bintini. So Docker logs. Which container ID? This container ID. You see, this is the log. Okay. So now you can see the logs of Docker. Yes. Docker. Yes. Now can I see the logs of this container? Actually, let me check. See here. If I do the logs, it showed me this one. So why is that so? So, and it shows many other things, but it's gone with the issue. So it's not allowing me to go out like this. So whatever the command you run, remember I got it inside this command. Whatever I run on the attach mode, not exec mode, attach mode. So you see ls. Okay. So whatever. So that is the one thing. Now ps command you know very well. What is the stats command will do? So docker stats. Stats will give you the CPU utilization, memory utilization and a network utilization as per the container. See that? You can see that all the network utilization and stuff like that. So here. Okay. Now, if you want the individual reports also, you can go check. So here stats and container ID. Okay. Now you see individual reports also has come up. Now, what is the top? So top is very interesting command actually. So let's say you have docker top, okay, and container ID. So here you see it's very interesting command. See, understand this. Container is nothing but a user isolation, correct? User isolation. So that means if it is a user, then of course that process ID will be created in the host machine. So sometime if you want to know which container is having the which PID, understand that? Which PID? So that way if you want to locate, then this container will help. This command will help. See here I am able to understand that in my container there is a two process running. Okay, understand that. There is one process here and there is one process here. There is one process here, one process here. If you want to see in a different way, let me do that. Exec ps-ef. See here. So PID 1 and 6. But this PID 1 and 6 is a container PID because each container get their own one process map also. You know that very well. But in the host machine also you have a process map. And for host machine, everything is a process no matter what you are running. So sometime you want to correlate, okay, which container is having what process ID in my host machine. The place Docker engine is stored. So then that place top command within it. So here you see Bintini is with the PID number 9593 and jar is with the PID number 9618. Whereas 9618 parent ID is 9593, which is again the Bintini's PID. And 9593's PPID is 9577. So 9577. So let's trace this one. ps-ef grep. See, this you can trace it. See. So basically whatever you think about it, whatever you run inside a container also, multiple process, 2, 3, 5, whatever, actually it is a part of the host table also. Host process table also. Okay. Are you able to understand this or not?
Yes, right.
Yeah. So understand this. Again, if I look at this here, 9593, see that Bintini. Okay. And 9577. And see this is this one. Here. And see this is a container. 9577 is a container D, managed by container D. So this runtime environment, and you see, trace back again, you will go to the PID 1. So this is the relationship what you are having. Okay, are you getting this stuff?
Yes.
Okay. So guys, now last comment what you have event.
Shall I kill the process from the root itself?
Yes, you can.
Which is inside running the code.
Yes, you can kill, right? You can kill.
Okay.
Let's try. See.
To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the $399 plan and grow your skills immensely.
See, this is the Bintini. and this is the what do you say, jar file, Jenkins jar file. So kill-9, because this is not a PID one. Suicide is, you are not doing suicide here, right? You are a something different. See here, let's check it out. See, gone. Docker ps, then ps-a, gone. Understood that?
Okay, got it.
So this one. Now last command is,
So on the host system only we can monitor
yeah, you can monitor the host machine. There is some background noise coming from someone. I'm not able to understand that. It's coming suddenly and suddenly it get disappeared also. Okay, so now next one is event command. Okay, so let's try events command here. Now if you look at this clear, events command. See here guys, Docker ps. How many containers is running right now? One. So event command. See here, I did log, container log monitoring here, process monitoring here, infra monitoring here like CPU, RAM, and blah. And here, seeing all the top, that means the host machine process ID monitoring here. So event is a command which will help you to monitor the Docker daemon. Yeah, there is a Docker daemon, remember, as part of the Docker engine, Docker client and Docker daemon. So you have a Docker daemon which is a part of the Docker engine. So event command will monitor Docker daemon. So now can we do that? So here you look at this. First I will history. These commands I'm going to share with you. Okay. Now I will try events. Docker events. See here, nothing is showing right now. So actually you are able to, nothing is happening with a Docker daemon. So nothing is showing it to you. So what need to be done? I don't want to disturb this console. I will open up a new console. CentOS. Okay, sudo -s. Now Docker, what I want to do, run -itd Ubuntu. There is one container I want to create. Okay, Ubuntu. And you see here. See, background. See what you did, created and connected to the network and started. I told you, right, run means create plus start plus become. So become, it will not show you that's the behavior, but in events you create, start, and here network assignment has up. Okay. So what is event? Event, let me change that image, one more image. Jenkins. See here. See here. Create. One volume also, in the Jenkins image volume also got created because image developer has mentioned that. And create, network connect, mounted the volume and then started. So in the Jenkins image there is a volume. Now what is the volume? I need to discuss about that in the next topic after the NS section. Then you will understand. So this is the one. So basically, yes, event command will help you to event or monitor the event table and so on. So did you understand this? Docker D. Guys, did you understand this?
Yes, Rajesh.
Yes, Rajesh. Okay, wonderful.
Please enroll our general membership for $399 plan to get access of all the parts.
Along with that, you can access our other tutorials such as Docker, Ansible, Jenkins, Terraform, Splunk, AWS, Azure, and various other DevOps related premium tutorials with our channel membership. If you would have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@devopsschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the 3D99 plan and grow your skills immensely. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Thanks for watching.